Good morning and good morning. Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to see all your faces. Thank you so much for joining us this Saturday morning. My name is Jemiah Hargens. I'm the founder of Crop Swap LA. And well, I'm excited to have you involved in our movement today. Because we have a number of announcements to share with you about our Urban Farming Institute and how Crop Swap LA has achieved a number of thresholds and milestones for this exact community since we first received funds from the State Budget Act in 2021. It was the valuable support from now Congresswoman Sydney Kamlager, Dove, and we're really grateful for that support. But most importantly, the funds from the state allowed us to build the administrative team that's necessary to manage what you see here in front of you, to grow the movement, to grow food, and to grow community. This included officially hiring urban farmers who collect and grow food throughout this neighborhood and around the city, as well as human resource professionals to help manage the team, and then my own executive team to help manage the business and the operations. At this point, we're proudly serving hundreds of our neighbors every week, and we plan to feed many thousands more later on. Clap, clap, clap. Oh, that was in my notes. Well, first I'd like to tell you a little bit about what you see in front of you. Years ago, I was renting my home nearby, and I had a lush, big backyard garden that was feeding just my family, but unknowingly I was also planting seeds that would become Crop Swap LA. Well, one day my landlord dropped by and said I had to clear it all out. It was catastrophic to imagine, and that lesson ultimately helped to set into motion what you see behind me. Now at Crop Swap LA, we grow food on unused spaces using captured rainwater, organic methodology, and hyper-local distribution. It's similar to regenerative agriculture, but in the urban context, we take this to mean that we never lose a drop of water that we use, and we recycle the nutrients within the neighborhood that it came from. This includes capturing 10,000 gallons of rainwater on this site, composting, using vegan, plant-based nutrient supplements, and distributing this food within 1 mile from where it is grown. You're standing in front of our third microfarm in our network, my home, the Degnan Microfarm, and our first two were completed in 2020 and 2021 respectively, and they've been serving about 30 families totally since then. The system's a little larger here with 2,600 plants utilizing a terraponics soil system, and terraponics is similar to hydroponics, but it always has soil at the top. Here, our team of urban farmers and administrators grow food for about 45 families each week, just from this location. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. Hey. Currently, what we're growing here from west to east, I'll tell you what you see. Over there is our tomato forest, where you can sit in and get lost in tomatoes. Next to that, we have the Three Sisters. Who here knows the Three Sisters? Okay, we've got 5 people. This is an ancient growing strategy where you pair corn, squash, and beans, and the three supplement each other's nutrients and each other's stability such that the fruit from all of them are much healthier. So we're doing Three Sisters right here, yes. Over here we have bush beans. This area is actually a little deeper and allows for root vegetables to grow. So bush beans, squash, sweet potatoes, and our 8-foot tall okra just showing off like it ain't got nothing else to do. There in front of Darius in the yellow are other squash and herbs that are pollinators and delicious to eat and include in our bags. I'll describe that in a moment. And then over there, the A-frames, the vertical A-frames, are actually made out of gutters. Those grow about 1,500 plants, and all of them can be heads of lettuces, leafy greens, herbs, and spices. We have peppers and other great things over there as well. Along the edge of the house, we also have water recycling trees and bushes that pump water into each other and also don't lose a drop of that water. Like our other two locations, Asante Micro Farm and LaSalle Micro Farm, we sell this amazing food through a monthly and annual CSA membership program, where members receive an equal portion of whatever's ready each Sunday. With the addition of this micro farm, we're now serving over 200 people in Los Angeles, or 70 families. We are so proud to be delivering fresh nutrient food to people's doorsteps at a price that they can afford. Memberships cost $60 per month, and you can pay with CalFresh to get half off on that. To supplement the veggies, we also collect fresh fruit from around 150 neighbors in our area in Los Angeles who offer their extras as qualified donations to our nonprofit. Our teammates coordinate to swing by with pickers and get things like oranges, lemons, loquats, guavas, peaches, pears, apples, passion fruit, and numerous varieties of herbs and things that naturally grow in our environment and can be added to those membership bags. It's a sign of the times that there is enough demand for our work that our wait list is almost as long as our membership right now. So we decided to prioritize future memberships for families that need it most, specifically those who are qualifying to pay with CalFresh, those who are caring for the elderly in their home, those who are disabled themselves, those who are recently released or incarcerated, and those who are at-risk youth. We bumped them to the top of our wait list. Our price per pound comes out to about a quarter of the price of what you get at other healthy organic stores, but our food lasts about twice as long. Right on. If we have extra, we also donate up to 10% of our food to organizations nearby that serve the elderly. And many people don't know this about leafy greens, but when you cut them, they lose about 75% of their nutrient value over the next few days, especially if it's transported and out of the sunlight. So we believe that our ability to deliver this fresh food directly to people's doorsteps immediately after harvest makes our food the healthiest available in the entire city. Each of our beds here are designed to capture the rainwater that's gracing me with a nice cameo right now. You might feel the rain on you. We're capturing rainwater at this very moment. And then they flood and drain themselves on schedule using solar power to irrigate the crops without losing one drop. That's pretty badass, right? Aerating the water, which means to pump it and keep air in it, balancing the pH, and regularly testing for harmful bacteria is how our teammates ensure that this water remains healthy over time. And as a whole, I mentioned this property stores 10,000 gallons of rainwater. It fills up about twice a year. But if we don't get enough rain that year, our tanks are triggering to pull in the city water, and we can still operate if we needed to. Although this microfarm serves as both our headquarters for our team for regular operations and storage, we also hold programs here. This April, for instance, we launched our workshops to certify home growers in growing food for themselves for survival and as a business. We also launched yoga classes here, documentary movie nights, walking tours, and running tours between microfarms so that we can positively engage community members who want to be inspired. You can sign up for any of those right now at cropswapla.org. This neighborhood, we love Lamert Park. It's shown so much great enthusiasm for this new location. We're frequently getting encouragement from people who pass by. They're either honking or yelling out of their cars or bringing something by to support us in some way. But it shows how inspired people are with what we're doing. Similarly, volunteers have offered over 1,000 hours of work over the last 2 years to our organization. And that's sometimes a Girl Scout crew, or an entire family, or members of the unhoused community, or even first-time green thumbs. They all want to support this movement. And all of this, that you see was only possible because of my incredible staff, who you see. Clap it up for my staff in the yellow, yay! As well as mentors of mine who are in the audience and know who they are. generous volunteers who've shown up today as well, and many fruit tree donating families in the area have all advanced this mission to where it is. I'm also excited to announce today that we've recently received a federal farm-to-school grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Crop Swap LA is the only recipient in Los Angeles, and so we're determined to do something meaningful with that, and we plan to open our 4th micro farm at a local high school. We're particularly excited about the opportunity because not only will we be growing food and adding to our network distribution, but we'll also be opening a vocational training program for high schoolers to understand the business and operations of growing food for their own community. These are irrevocable lifetime skills that only positively affect those around them. This is also a very timely award because LA Unified is trying really hard to make steps to green our schools back and expand their own outdoor learning environments. The benefits of spending time outdoors with your hands in the dirt extend beyond the classroom, and we're excited to expand our partnerships with schools, the district, and the USDA. And after numerous considerations and negotiations between the various high schools in the area, we've committed to start our program at Dorsey High School. Dorsey High School is a very large and historic high school on Obama Boulevard and Farmdale. It's 5 minutes west of here. And we're currently designing a water recycling system and a program that matches Common Core standards and empowers those students with the gift of food independence. Next, I'd like to share what we have in store for the next few years. At the heart of our movement are 2 important principles. The first is food independence, and the second is local nutrient transfer. Food independence means that a community can be self-determined in deciding what it wants to eat. Local nutrient transfer means that everybody has the right to the nutrients that are locally available, whether they live in an apartment, a home, or otherwise. But everyone here knows that that's not the system we have right now. Instead, we have a system of food dependency through an overly industrialized food system that emphasizes production and economics of scale, and it damages people and the planet along the way. Food's price, its content, its origin, availability, and overall menu is squarely out of our hands. It's in someone else's hands right now. Despite how diverse we all are right now, some of our menus might be exactly the same. Despite how economically challenging it may be to live in LA, and despite how years of worsening conditions for farm workers and the environment are, we only see a harder drive toward the bottom of the barrel in that regard. Well, we're here today to show you that there is another way. Crop Swap LA and its partners are creating local self-sustainable food systems that rely on professionally trained staff and generous volunteers to manage and distribute that nutrient-dense food in its own community. And if that sounds like food independence, say food independence! Food independence! Now that said, we're also here to launch our individual giving campaign around food independence, and we want your help. As we head into the giving season, we know that you have a lot of choices, but we know that Crop Swap LA can become your family's favorite choice because our work is essential and we need it so much so quickly. Because in LA, there's roughly 20,000 residents per square mile, and they all depend on the same grocery store. That's absurd. But even with our most innovative work and successful efforts at Crop Swap LA to serve 200 plus people, that only adds up to 1% of that 20,000. 1%. So to continue our mission, we do need your help. We're aiming to raise $500,000 over the next 5 months to continue, and we need your support to make food independence a priority in Los Angeles. Watching the trends at the grocery store with conglomerations and depleting food quality, it's time to abandon the unsustainable system the way it is and choose a better way. Support Crop Swap LA. Okay, I just want to mention Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an African value that means because of you, we are, and because of me, you are. This neighborhood and this example is a perfect meaning of Ubuntu. We support the community, staff live here, and you live here, and we promise to only distribute the food within a mile. So you guaranteed involvement and meaning. So I just want to point that out, that it's very important to me. So thank you for listening. And I have a couple of announcements before we move on. Thank you. Before I move on, I would like to introduce a special guest, Councilmember Heather Hutt, who would like to say a couple of words with me here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it on? Yeah, you can hear me? Okay. Real close. Okay. I'm excited to be here this morning. I want to say good morning. More than that, I want to say something that I just shared with John. I live off of Coliseum, right? So going to City Hall, this is my route. So I have been able to watch the development of this space. Firsthand, not just from staff being here. So I saw the boxes, actually this fence go up. Then I was like, well, what's happening in the boxes? I needed to understand that. And as it came, every day, I started to see more growth and development. I started to see somebody's vision on what could happen in this community. And I started to see food. I was like, it grew really quickly, in my opinion. I don't know about other neighbors who've been able to watch this, but I was like, why is it so hard for us to get fresh food when they're doing it on Degnan? That's what I wanted to know after that. So congratulations to Crop Swap. Congratulations on getting USDA to participate in anything that's not a big conglomerate. So that's huge. I mean, giant size, especially in an urban community like Los Angeles in the 10th district that's 8 miles away from all other things. I also want to say thank you for engaging Dorsey High School with our students that are also in the 10th district. They could basically walk here if they were so ambitious. And I'm glad that you're not only teaching them how to sustain their own life, but healthy choices, right? And the spirit of completion doesn't always come when you write an essay. The spirit of completion comes when you see health and growth, when you got your hands in the dirt, and when you got a chance to see it change from a little seed into a leaf. And then we have tomatoes right there, right? It's just beautiful. I'm confident that Degnan Micro Farms will assist us in making a better community. It'll also bring neighbors together to have discussions on what we like and what's good. You can't hear me? Oh. I'm not good at this part. But I'm grateful to be here. And my son is a vegan chef. I don't know if you know this. But he's seen it as well. And he's like, Mom, you could have done this in the backyard. I could be... Which I have the space to do it in. And we probably all do, right? We can learn from this. We can contribute to this. And I'm going to figure out a way to help you with your goal. I can't do the 500, but I can do the something. Because I think it's very important. And I have something for you. Where is it, Eric? Come on up. Neighbors, this is Eric. This is his grid area. Any problems? Call Eric.
Call Eric.
You see what he looks like, huh?
I'm gonna take a picture.
Take a picture, Eric. Put it on the next door. That's who you gotta call in my office if you need anything done. Jeremiah. This is for Jeremiah. This is for Crop Swap LA on behalf of the city of Los Angeles. And says a whole bunch of stuff about how great this is. And I just want to let you know it's important. Hopefully you can hang it somewhere and say, this is the start of something big. We appreciate your energy, your effort, and also your vision. on what could happen in an area that had been neglected for so long. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the contribution. Thank you for having me. And what I'm going to take out of here?
I'm sure we have something for you.
What you got? I have to wait. I pass by every day. I'll get it later. I can get it later. Don't worry. I called John. I got to sell. Thank you.
Thank you so much, council member. Thank you so much. Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much. And before I open up Q&A to the press and to the general public here, quick announcement. If anyone has children, my staff is passing out my book for your family to read. It's called Captain Plant It. Captain Plant It. And you'll see Haley here with the yellow. You can have a free copy. If you know a kid or if you like a kid somewhere, give that kid a book. It's a coloring book and it rhymes too, so I spent time on that. The other thing I want to mention is we have refreshments and materials. We have a porta potty in the back if you need that. It's clean. I'm forgetting something. Before Q&A, if anyone has fruit in their backyards, we'd love to start picking it, including in our memberships. And yeah, just grateful to see so many supporters from this movement. I'm very excited. So as you're gathering your questions, we're going to give questions about 10 minutes, and I'll answer it fully. And first come, first serve. Yes, the gentleman in the yellow.
Okay. Can you elaborate on the water savings? How is this garden unique from other micro farms throughout the United States or even here in California?
Yes, so the water savings here is beyond removal of the grass. When you take your grass off and you use that in a water recycling manner, you probably save about 80% of the water already. This design tops that even more. There's no overhead spray, and in fact, the only water loss here might be transpiration, where the plants sweat. So you might know about that. They sweat and then it evaporates. That's the only water loss. Why is that essential? In Los Angeles, if it rains, the water goes down here, goes over there to the gutter behind you, and it rolls down the street. It probably ends up picking up toxins, oils, all this nasty stuff from the cars. Then it gets to the ocean. Once it hits the ocean, it deoxifies it, which is our main oxygen source right now, the water. And so we want that healthy. There's no way to prevent that unless you capture it on site. So we have gutters on the house and the garage that all funnel their water directly underground. And that's essential for the environment. It's also essential for sustainability of the family in the case of a water crisis. We know how precarious Los Angeles has been with the drought, and already our water sources from Mount Shasta are way up there, and water rights could change. We actually don't have water rights if you look into it. We're just moving like we do. And so we need to think of a solution before we're forced to think of a solution. Each neighborhood needs to have 10,000 gallons of water in various places so that when things go bad, we know that we'll get through it together. The young gentleman in the blue.
A couple of years ago, they had a motion, Regenerate LA, which is based on finding ways to get what they call brown jobs. So what you were talking about with this vocational programming, is there a possibility to work with the city council to create trained youth to do these types of jobs that would help remediate and heal the soil throughout the entire city? Would you be interested in doing something to support the Regenerate LA motion?
That's a brilliant idea. Regenerate LA motion is a city council motion, and we would lean into that. The idea, in my point of view, would be an urban farming corps of young people who routinely perform the tasks that are necessary to revive the environment and grow food at the same time. At Dorsey High School, when we opened our program there, the intention is that it's a vocational movement, that students can think about a job afterwards and actually practice the tools to be good at it when they graduate. One of my proudest moments as the recruiter, the main recruiter for our organization, was when I brought on a young 18-year-old named Ryan. He had just graduated from high school, and he wasn't even job hunting. I just met him in Leimert Park and explained what we did. He was immediately interested in it and volunteered over and over and over, gaining the flow and the systems. He didn't need a degree from college to understand it, and he didn't need to take out loans to participate. So it's a quick step into something that's meaningful and relevant to all of us around here. Yes, the young gentleman in the red hat, the blue hat.
Hi, how do you decide what plants to plant and how many of each plant?
Yes, we decide what to plant based on a very detailed crop planning process. About all of our farming team gets involved in deciding based on the seasonality and the neighborhood's essence, in a sense. Like, for instance, we have collard greens here, sweet potatoes, and okra. I'm pretty sure that matches most folks in this neighborhood, and it's also we get feedback on our members to indicate what they like and what they may not like as much. At this point, anything that you grow is better than nothing, but we are meticulous in making sure that things go together to have an overall heavy weight of the bag. Our bags are about 12 pounds, maybe 10 pounds nowadays, but we contribute that based on the seasonality of the fruit as well. This season right now we have grapes coming in from people's backyards. Earlier we had peaches and things like that. Excuse me. So we think a lot about the totality of the package, which ends up lasting folks, I would say about 6 meals depending on how you eat and who's involved in your family. We also take nature as indication sometimes. For instance, those large tomatoes over there are popping out babies on their roots that we didn't expect to see. But we're leaving them because that must be what nature wants. And pretty soon we'll have really awesome tomatoes on the bottom as well. Thank you.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
So I volunteer here every week since the summer, and I just wanted to say, this has been a very inspiring movement. And I go to a school very close by here. It's called Vocational Learning Center. And since I've been around this for some time, I was inspired to start a green club at my school because I feel I need to share this message with my peers. So I'm looking forward to your support as well at my school as well. It's also part of LUSC. If you can also help share this amazing message there.
Thank you so much for that inspiring message. And I'll just repeat a piece of it for folks. And what's your name?
My name is Rumaisa.
Rumaita?
Yes.
And this is Rumaita, one of our long ongoing volunteers here. She and her family have come multiple times to volunteer at this micro farm, and she attends a school down the street and has started a green club there, growing club, as a result of her experience here. And I'm very excited to hear that. Thank you so much.
I think we have time for one more.
One more question as well. We have time. Yes, young lady.
So, Jim, looking back in your life, what do you think were the sparks, or how do you think that you were that kid that is now X amount of years later doing this?
For me, the sparks that ignite this movement in someone, even as a child, is the meaning behind your actions. I'm grateful to be in LA. However, LA has a spectator essence to it, where you see something and it's cool and you keep going. This allows people to see something that's cool and stay and make it work. Because we need the food next week, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week. There's meaning and purpose behind it. I think folks here have been wanting something like that. And even as a younger person, when I had a different career, I was working as a recruiter, which I enjoyed. Earlier, I worked as a stockbroker and an equities trader on the markets for many years. And there wasn't meaning and purpose. You know, come 2:30 p.m., the markets close and everything's cool. But here, I think about each of these 2,600 plants in my sleep. I come out here at 3 a.m. to make sure they're not getting eaten up by some pests. And it's because I have the purpose of feeding my neighbors and feeding my family. I have 2 young daughters. I have a beautiful wife and mom and brother and family here. And each of them need an example like that. Thank you. Yes, they each need an example. And we have to be that example. That's why when we designed this location, we said, let's do it in every corner we can. Eventually, we'll get to that parkway, by the way. Don't worry. But we had to be on...
Completely legal.
Yes, you are legally able to do that. And, you know, we really want to show that example. That's why I wrote this as a children's book, because I'm trying to combat what got us here in the first place. It's a force and energy that made so much of our food in the grocery stores the way it is. And so it'll take a counter force at least as equally forceful to reverse that. And that takes time, but in the essence of a child, it's easy. Children see the idea, they see the food, they walk by, and they're kind of changed that way. So if we really want to affect our environment, it's working through our kids, it's working through each other's families, and guaranteeing that this continues. I mentioned that we're running an individual giving campaign. That's a way for folks to give in their own ways as we seek funding and opportunities in other areas. But the meaning behind that is your involvement. And I just wanted to say that that I'm very thankful for all the involvement so far. Great, well thank you. So now at this point, we may be out of time. I want to again thank you, Councilmember Heather Hutt, for joining us today. And all my staff. I'd also like to point out a couple of special guests in the audience who I didn't have time to put in the speech. The young gentleman in the green shirt is the inventor and designer of this beautiful, is Rick Seyssel. Yes, and as you're welcome to tiptoe into the backyard as well, you'll see a beautiful waterfall, and you'll be walking on top of 5,000 gallons, and that design was installed by another great mentor of ours here in the yellow, Mr. Mike Garcia. So I don't have time to point out everyone here who's great, but everyone here is great. Meet each other, and thank you again for your time. One more thing. We're going to do a ribbon cutting. So staff, please come here. Staff over here. And I'm going to ask Councilmember Hutt to do our ribbon cutting. Everyone can join me behind me. And we'll have the staff thing here, the cutting in front. Hi.
Hey there, my friend.
You're still alive.
Still alive. Yeah, staff, come walk behind me. Mike, if you're interested. Ribbon cutting.
You have to let us know where to get those boots.
Yeah, these are the Adidas boots. I had to deal with them.
Back there.
They're not in the store anymore. Yeah, Rick, if you would like to come with us. Anyone that's worked on this?
How about your volunteer?
Yeah, Haley.
Haley. Yes.
You volunteer?
Not volunteers yet.
Oh, cool.
I'm tall.
I'm learning about water back there. I'm very excited about this because I pass by every day. It's a big deal.
Could we remember the word Ubuntu together and say it on 3? 1, 2, 3. Ubuntu! Thank you all for joining. And picture. Yes, photo opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You guys get them. Go out to the into whatever you want. Okay. One right here? Sure. 1, 2, 3. One more? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I look in the back?
Yes, let's go to the back and check it out. And you can ask any staff any questions, they'll help you out. Thank you all so much.
You killed that.
Thanks.